In the beginning, there was only chaos, the void, the emptiness that existed before creation. From this formless state, three primordial beings emerged: Gaia, the earth; Eros, the god of love and desire; and Uranus, the sky. These powerful beings laid the foundation for everything that was to come. Gaia, the nurturing mother, gave birth to Uranus, who became her consort. Together, they produced a race of powerful beings known as the Titans, who would later shape the world and set the stage for the great cosmic battles that followed. But as time passed, the relationship between Gaia and Uranus soured. Uranus grew fearful of the power his children, the Titans, would one day possess. To protect his reign, he imprisoned them deep within the earth, angering Gaia. Frustrated and filled with rage, Gaia sought revenge. She turned to her youngest son, Cronus, who was determined to overthrow his father. This act of rebellion marked the beginning of a monumental conflict, a conflict that would reshape the cosmos and lead to the rise of the Olympian gods, whose own struggles would define the future of the world. In the beginning, the primordial deities ruled the cosmos, but it was the Titans who soon emerged as the dominant force. Cronus, the youngest Titan, was destined for greatness. With the assistance of Gaia, his mother, and a cunning plan, Cronus overthrew his father, Uranus, the ruler of the heavens. This moment marked the birth of the Titan era, a time of unrivaled power and ambition, but Cronus's victory came at a cost. In an act of cruelty and vengeance, he castrated Uranus, banishing him from the throne. This violent act signaled the dawn of a new era, but it also set in motion a tragic pattern that would haunt the world for generations. Cronus, despite his triumph, was driven by an overwhelming fear, the fear that one day, his own children would rise against him, just as he had done to his father. This deep-rooted anxiety led to a dark cycle. Each ruler, in his quest for control, feared being overthrown by their own offspring. And so, the seeds of tragedy were sown, as a new family conflict was set to unfold, a conflict that would reverberate through the ages. The prophecy was a shadow that haunted Cronus's every step. It was foretold that one of his children would rise to defeat him, just as he had done to his father. Driven by paranoia, Cronus took extreme measures to prevent the prophecy from coming true. As soon as his children were born, he swallowed them whole, one by one. The first to fall victim was Hestia, followed by Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon. Each child, despite being consumed by their father, was fated to play a pivotal role in the battle that would come. But not all was lost for Cronus's wife, Rhea. Desperate to save at least one of her children, she turned to Gaia for help. Gaia, who had once assisted Cronus in overthrowing Uranus, now became an ally to Rhea. Together, they devised a plan to save the youngest child, Zeus. When Zeus was born, Rhea secretly smuggled him away to Crete, where he was hidden and raised in secrecy. There, the gods would prepare for the future battle that would decide the fate of Olympus. Rhea's plea was not in vain. As Zeus grew stronger, the moment for his return came closer. But before that could happen, the world remained in the grasp of Cronus's fear and tyranny. The prophecy still loomed, an unstoppable force in the background of a family teetering on the edge of destruction. Zeus, having grown strong and wise, was ready for the moment when he would confront his father. The time had come for him to break free from the shadows of fear and take his place as the rightful ruler of the heavens. He returned from Crete, gathering allies along the way, determined to release his siblings from their father's grasp. Zeus's first act was to force Cronus to regurgitate his brothers and sisters, each of whom had been swallowed in infancy. With the siblings freed and reunited, the war between the gods and the Titans began in full force. The battlefield was set, and the stakes could not have been higher. The Titans, led by Cronus, were mighty and unyielding, but the gods, led by Zeus, were driven by a deep desire for justice and freedom. In this epic conflict, Zeus's allies played a crucial role. The Cyclopes, craftsmen of the gods, forged weapons of unimaginable power, including Zeus's thunderbolt, Poseidon's trident, and Hades' helmet of invisibility. Alongside them stood the hundred-handed giants, fierce beings with the strength to shape the very earth. Together, they turned the tide of the war. The battle raged on for 10 years, with both sides suffering great losses. But in the end, the gods emerged victorious. The Titans were defeated and imprisoned in Tartarus, their once mighty reign broken. Cronus, the once feared ruler, was cast down. Zeus's return marked the beginning of a new era, an era where the gods would rule, and the prophecy that had haunted their family was fulfilled. The three most powerful gods, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, emerged victorious, their strength solidified after the tumultuous battle. With the Titans no longer a threat, the three brothers drew lots to determine who would rule what part of the world. Zeus, the mightiest of the three, claimed dominion over the sky, while Poseidon took command of the sea, and Hades, the quietest and most stoic, became the ruler of the underworld. The fate of the world was now in their hands, each brother assuming control over a realm that reflected their character. Zeus ruled from the heavens, commanding storms with his thunderbolt. Poseidon roared across the seas, sending tsunamis and earthquakes to remind mortals of his power. And Hades governed the dark, shadowy underworld, where the souls of the departed passed into eternal judgment. Though the brothers had divided the world among themselves, they each remained intertwined in the grand mythological narrative. Their reigns defined not only by their power but also by their relationships with one another, with other gods, and with mortals. Greek mythology is a vast and timeless saga, rich with tales of power, love, and conflict. But at the heart of these stories stand the gods themselves, each with their own unique powers, personalities, and domains. Now, let's explore these mighty deities one by one and uncover the roles they played in shaping the world of myth. Zeus, the king of the gods, was a figure of both immense power and profound complexity. His rule from Mount Olympus was defined by his ability to control the weather with his mighty thunderbolt. Whether he unleashed storms, lightning, or clear skies, Zeus governed the heavens with an authority that wasn't questioned. His thunderbolt was not just a symbol of his power but also a tool to maintain order in the cosmos. But his reign was not without its troubles. Zeus was infamous for his numerous affairs, both divine and mortal. His infidelity, however, did not diminish his importance. In fact, it often resulted in the birth of mighty heroes and gods. From his union with Hera, his sister and wife, came Ares, the god of war. But Zeus's affairs with mortal women were far more legendary. From his romance with Leda, the queen of Sparta, came the twin heroes Castor and Pollux, and from his love for Danae came Perseus, the slayer of Medusa. Each affair not only sparked jealousy in his wife Hera but also led to the creation of myths and heroes whose destinies would shape the mortal world. While Zeus was revered as the protector of mortals, he was not without flaws. His anger was swift, his decisions often harsh, yet his role as king remained unchallenged. Mortals prayed to him for protection, for justice, and for fairness, but they also feared his wrath. Even the gods knew that defying Zeus could result in divine punishment. Despite his flaws, Zeus was the embodiment of divine authority, the ruler of the heavens, and the protector of order in the universe. Poseidon, god of the sea, was as volatile and unpredictable as the very waters he ruled. With his trident in hand, he commanded the oceans and could stir up storms, causing devastation on land and sea. His power was unmatched beneath the waves, and sailors prayed to him for calm seas, fearing his wrath if they displeased him. Poseidon's influence extended far beyond the oceans, for he also had control over earthquakes, a reminder of his immense power to shake the very earth beneath people's feet. While Poseidon's might was feared, his temperament was equally unpredictable. He was not above holding grudges, and when slighted, his wrath was swift and destructive. One of the most infamous stories of his vengeance involved King Minos of Crete. Minos had promised Poseidon a sacrifice, but when he failed to deliver, Poseidon cursed Minos' wife, Persephone, to fall in love with a bull, resulting in the birth of the Minotaur, a creature of both myth and terror. Poseidon's role in Greek mythology was not limited to his destructive powers. He also had a more compassionate side, particularly when it came to the protection of cities and individuals who showed him respect. Yet his domain was often a symbol of the dangers lurking beneath the surface, unseen, powerful, and merciless when provoked. As god of the seas, Poseidon was a figure both inspiring and terrifying, shaping both the natural world and the stories of those who ventured into his domain. Hades, the lord of the underworld, was often misunderstood. Unlike the tempestuous Zeus or the restless Poseidon, Hades ruled over the dark and quiet realm of the dead with a sense of solemn authority. His domain was not a place of torment, but rather one of judgment, where the souls of the departed were sorted. Beneath the earth, Hades governed the flow of souls with his wife Persephone, whom he had taken from the mortal world to be his queen. Hades' underworld was a place of mystery and complexity. The souls that entered his realm faced judgment based on their lives. Some were rewarded, while others faced punishment, depending on their deeds. The river Styx, which separated the living from the dead, was the first obstacle one would face in their journey to the afterlife. Those who had not been properly buried or those who could not pay Charon, the ferryman, were left to wander aimlessly. Hades himself was not a cruel god but rather a ruler who upheld the order of life and death. He was neither good nor evil but simply just. However, his capture of Persephone and his rule over the underworld made him a figure feared by both mortals and gods alike. His role in Greek mythology was essential. Without death, there could be no life, and Hades, with his dark realm, ensured the balance of the world was maintained. Hera, the queen of the gods, was a figure both revered and feared. As the wife and sister of Zeus, she held a powerful position in the divine hierarchy. Hera was the goddess of marriage and women, embodying the sanctity and power of both institutions. Her role in Greek mythology was to protect married women and ensure the stability of family life, but her own marriage to Zeus was far from peaceful. Hera's most defining trait was her fierce jealousy. Zeus's numerous affairs and infidelities sparked a deep rage in her, leading her to take vengeful actions against both Zeus's lovers and their children. One of the most famous examples of this was her persecution of Heracles, the hero born from one of Zeus's mortal affairs. Hera's jealousy and wrath were not limited to mortals. She also waged battles against other gods, often seeking revenge for perceived slights against her or her marriage. Yet, despite her vengeful nature, Hera was not without compassion. She was fiercely protective of her own family, particularly her children, and her role as the protector of marriage and family was one that she took seriously. Hera's complex nature, both nurturing and wrathful, made her one of the most intriguing figures in Greek mythology, a goddess whose emotions shaped not only her own destiny but also the fates of those around her. Athena, born from the head of Zeus, symbolizes both wisdom and strategic warfare, making her one of the most revered figures in Greek mythology. Unlike Ares, who embodies the chaos and bloodlust of war, Athena's approach is thoughtful and calculated. Her birth itself is an event of immense significance, as she emerged fully grown and armored from Zeus's forehead after he swallowed her mother, Thetis. Athena's relationship with heroes is also noteworthy. She aided many, including the great Odysseus and Perseus, providing guidance and wisdom to help them overcome their trials. The goddess's role extends beyond mere war. She is also associated with weaving, crafts, and strategic planning. Her intelligence is equally revered, and she is often depicted as the paragon of reason and intellect, in contrast to the emotional volatility of many other gods. The city of Athens, the cradle of democracy and knowledge, is named in her honor. The Parthenon, a magnificent temple built on the Acropolis, stands as a testament to her influence and the esteem in which she was held. In battle, Athena would often lend her support to warriors who relied on strategy rather than brute force, ensuring that wisdom would always have its place in the chaos of war. As the goddess of both wisdom and war, Athena represents the balance between intellect and strength, a duality that made her one of the most powerful and respected deities in the Greek pantheon. Ares, the god of war, is a figure marked by his aggressive and bloodthirsty nature. And like Athena, who represents strategic warfare, Ares embodies the violence and chaos that come with battle. The son of Zeus and Hera, Ares was often disliked by both the gods and mortals alike, whose experiences with war were filled with suffering and destruction. Ares's uncontrollable rage on the battlefield made him an embodiment of the darker side of conflict. Although revered as a powerful force in war, Ares's image is tainted by his lack of discipline and honor. His romantic affair with Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, is one of the most infamous tales of Greek mythology. Caught in the act by Aphrodite's husband, Hephaestus, Ares was humiliated when the trap set by Hephaestus exposed his infidelity to the other gods. This moment of embarrassment showcased Ares's vulnerability and added to his reputation as a less-than-noble deity, contrasting sharply with the honorable image upheld by Athena. Ares is often depicted as a fierce warrior, fully armored and eager for battle, but his presence in Greek mythology is less celebratory compared to other gods of war. While gods like Zeus and Athena were respected for their wisdom and power, Ares's actions were seen as reckless and destructive, leading to his isolation from the more dignified and respected gods of Mount Olympus. Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, is one of the most captivating figures in Greek mythology. Born from the foam of the sea, she embodies both the allure of love and the power of beauty, capable of influencing both gods and mortals alike. Aphrodite's irresistible charm made her a key player in many myths, often using her powers to instigate love, desire, and even conflict. Her role in the Trojan War is one of the most significant aspects of her mythological legacy. Aphrodite promised Paris, the prince of Troy, the love of the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen, leading to the war that would engulf the ancient world. This divine intervention in mortal affairs underscores the powerful influence she wielded over both gods and men, manipulating emotions to her will. However, Aphrodite's actions were not always altruistic. She often used her powers for her own amusement, causing turmoil among both divine beings and mortals in her pursuit of beauty and pleasure. While she is revered for her beauty, Aphrodite's power goes beyond her physical appearance. She has the ability to stir deep emotions, ignite passion, and create bonds between people. Her relationships with other gods also reflect her complex nature. Aphrodite was married to Hephaestus, the god of blacksmiths, but she had numerous affairs, most notably with Ares, further complicating her divine interactions. Despite her flaws and the chaos she sometimes caused, Aphrodite's importance in Greek mythology cannot be denied, as her presence underscores the eternal connection between love, beauty, and the human experience. Artemis, the twin sister of Apollo, is the fierce and independent goddess of the hunt and the wilderness. Known for her exceptional skills with a bow and arrow, Artemis is often depicted as a protector of animals and young women. She values her freedom and virginity, fiercely guarding both throughout her many adventures in the forests and mountains of ancient Greece. Artemis's commitment to her independence is one of her defining traits. She remained untouched by love and took a vow of chastity, rejecting the advances of gods and mortals alike. Any attempt to violate her privacy would result in swift and severe punishment. One of the most infamous examples of this was when the hunter Athena stumbled upon Artemis bathing in a stream. For his transgression, Artemis transformed him into a stag, and he was hunted down by his own dogs, a fate befitting someone who dared to invade her sacred space. Despite her often solitary nature, Artemis played an important role in protecting both her domain and her followers. Her loyalty to her family, particularly to her mother, Leto, and her brother Apollo, was unwavering. She helped her mother during her difficult labor and was a fierce ally when it came to defending her family from threats. As a goddess of the wild, Artemis embodies the raw and untamed forces of nature, standing as a powerful symbol of strength, independence, and the protection of what is sacred. Apollo, the god of archery, light, music, and prophecy, is one of the most multifaceted and revered deities in Greek mythology. Born to Zeus and Leto, Apollo is a god who represents harmony, intellect, and artistic expression. His skill with the bow is unmatched, and his golden arrows are said to be able to heal or cause death, depending on the god's will. Apollo's most notable domain, however, is prophecy. He is closely associated with oracles, especially the Oracle of Delphi, where mortals travel to seek guidance from the gods. As the bringer of both light and truth, Apollo's ability to foretell the future made him a crucial figure in both divine and mortal affairs. His role as the god of prophecy is seen as a symbol of enlightenment and foresight, traits highly valued by the ancient Greeks. In addition to his prophetic powers, Apollo is also a god of music and the arts. He is often depicted playing a lyre, and his influence on poetry, dance, and art reflects his role as a patron of creative pursuits. Apollo's many talents made him a beloved figure among the gods and mortals alike. Though he had numerous romantic entanglements, yet his pursuit of true love was often thwarted by the unrequited nature of his affections. Despite these setbacks, Apollo's importance in Greek mythology is undeniable, as he embodies the dual nature of divine power, both destructive and nurturing. Hermes, the trickster god and messenger of the gods, is known for his speed, cunning, and ability to move freely between the realms of gods and mortals. Born to Zeus and the nymph Maia, Hermes is often depicted with winged sandals and a staff known as the caduceus, symbols of his ability to travel swiftly and carry messages across vast distances. As a god of thieves, merchants, and travelers, Hermes is a figure who is as clever as he is playful. His reputation for pranks and mischief is well known, and he frequently outwits other gods and mortals alike. Despite his trickster nature, Hermes serves an important role as an intermediary between the divine and human worlds. He carries messages from the gods to the mortals and helps guide the souls of the dead to the underworld, making him a bridge between the living and the afterlife. Hermes' role as a guide extends beyond mere communication. He is also a protector of travelers and a facilitator of commerce. His wit and resourcefulness make him one of the more beloved gods, despite his propensity for mischief. Whether he is helping a hero navigate a difficult quest or pulling a practical joke, Hermes remains a god whose actions balance cleverness with compassion, making him an indispensable part of the Greek pantheon. Demeter, the goddess of agriculture, is a figure deeply connected to the cycles of nature and the seasons. As the mother of Persephone, Demeter's grief over her daughter's abduction by Hades is one of the most profound and emotionally charged myths in Greek mythology. When Persephone was taken to the underworld, Demeter's sorrow caused the earth to grow barren, leading to the creation of winter. In her mourning, Demeter withheld the harvest, causing a great famine that affected both gods and mortals. This myth is a reflection of the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth. Persephone's eventual return from the underworld, however, marks the beginning of spring, symbolizing the return of fertility and life to the earth. Demeter's mourning and joy over Persephone's abduction and return reflect the duality of her role as a mother and the goddess of the harvest. Her emotions influence the agricultural cycle, and the changing seasons serve as a reminder of her power over the earth's bounty. Demeter's influence was vital to ancient Greek society, as agriculture was central to their way of life. Her role in ensuring the fertility of the land made her one of the most respected gods, and her devotion to her daughter exemplified the deep connection between family, nature, and life itself. Through Demeter, the Greeks understood that the balance of life and death is an essential force that governs not only the gods but also the lives of all living creatures. Hephaestus, the god of blacksmiths and inventors, had a rough start in life. Born to Hera, he was cast aside by her due to his deformity. He was born lame, unlike his divine siblings, and was considered a burden by his mother. Despite this, Hephaestus grew up to become a master craftsman, gifted with the ability to create the most extraordinary items. His work was unparalleled, from the grand armor of Achilles to the wondrous chariots of the gods. Hephaestus' story is one of resilience. After being rejected by his mother, he was raised by Thetis and Eurynome, to sea nymphs. They nurtured his creative spirit, and it was with their guidance that Hephaestus honed his skills. When he was older, he returned to Mount Olympus, where his talent was finally recognized. He built magnificent palaces for the gods and crafted weapons that were both beautiful and deadly. The gods, including Zeus, came to him for their most essential creations, including Zeus's thunderbolt, Hermes' winged sandals, and even a protective shield for Heracles. Despite his skill and revered position among the gods, Hephaestus was not without his own struggles. He married Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, but their union was far from perfect. Aphrodite's infidelity caused Hephaestus great pain, but he was not one to wallow in misery. He poured himself into his craft, creating works that would leave a legacy long after him. His creations, forged in fire and sweat, symbolize the power of perseverance, creativity, and the enduring nature of the divine craft. Dionysus, the god of wine, revelry, and chaos, was an essential figure in Greek mythology. As the son of Zeus and the mortal Semele, Dionysus was no stranger to tragedy and tumult. His mother perished before he was born, but Zeus saved the infant god, carrying him in his thigh until he was old enough to be reborn. From the moment he was born, Dionysus' presence was intoxicating and transformative, just like the wine he came to symbolize. Dionysus was a god of liberation. His followers, known as the Maenads, were ecstatic worshippers who reveled in the wild, uninhibited celebrations that marked his festivals. His cult grew rapidly, offering a release from the strictures of daily life and inviting his followers into a world of joyous chaos. The stories of Dionysus often revolve around ecstasy, madness, and the destruction that can come with unchecked indulgence. Yet, in his revelry, Dionysus was also a god of creation, bringing forth the vine that produced the grapes for wine, an elixir of life that would go on to shape Greek culture. Dionysus' importance in Greek social life cannot be overstated. His festivals, like the Dionysia, were central to Athenian culture, and theater itself emerged as a form of worship to him. Drama, comedy, and tragedy were born in the shadow of Dionysus' name, and the playwrights of ancient Greece, such as Sophocles and Euripides, often wrote their most compelling works in his honor. His story is one of duality, a god of wild abandon and destruction, but also of creativity and transformation. His presence reminded the Greeks of the delicate balance between order and chaos, reason and madness. Greek mythology is a timeless reflection of the human experience, encapsulating the complexities of power, love, jealousy, and vengeance through its pantheon of gods and goddesses. These deities, each representing distinct facets of life, gave shape to stories that continue to captivate audiences across centuries. The gods' struggles, whether for dominance, revenge, or love, mirror the conflicts that shape human existence. From Zeus' thunderous reign to the underworld's dark mysteries, the myths delve into the eternal battle between ambition and consequence. Their impact stretches beyond ancient Greece, influencing modern culture, literature, art, and even psychology. Each myth continues to resonate with audiences today, shaping how we view power, relationships. The gods' legacies are forever etched into the fabric of storytelling, reminding us that even in the divine, the human experience prevails. Thank you for joining us on this mythological journey through the gods and goddesses of Greek mythology. We hope you enjoyed learning about the power struggles, love, and vengeance that shaped the ancient world. If you liked this video, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating tales from the past.